now joined live from London by Natasha Hausdorff, a barrister, international law expert, and the director of UK Lawyers for Israel. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you.
So obviously big news, and the world is reacting. You know, these applications for these arrest warrants, if they are actually issued, what does it really mean for the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister?
Well, the request at this juncture will go to the pretrial chamber. And I have to say that in light of the requirement under Article 17 of the Rome Statute for complementarity, which will require the court to take into account Israel's willingness and ability to deal with any allegations itself, and also the requirements under Article 58 of the Rome Statute, for arrest warrants to be issued, there are still significant hurdles for that to occur. But in light of the rhetoric that we've already heard from some of Israel's allies, it's very possible that if issued, these arrest warrants would split several member states of the court, and certainly the United States, which is not a member state, will doubtless come under significant domestic pressure to renew the sanctions that have been placed on the ICC and on certain staff there. Those sanctions were withdrawn by this administration in April of 2021. So all eyes will be, I think, on this administration, the Biden administration, to see what steps they will take to back up their comments.
Also, let's talk about, drawing a parallel. Yes, the ICC also issuing arrest warrants for, the three top Hamas leaders. But, even people in Israel, like the hostage families, those that are most against the government, also calling it unfair. You cannot draw parallels between a democratic country and a terror organization. So is this decision even sensible?
Well, I certainly don't think the decision is surprising, and I think we need to take a step back and recognize what the motivating factors for Karim Khan to act in this fashion would have been. And doubtless the requests that he investigate Hamas, despite the court having no jurisdiction here, can only have encouraged this particular step, and he's presenting himself as being even-handed, drawing this obscene moral equivalence between the leadership of Hamas and the democratically and elected and accountable leadership in Israel. So it's unfortunate also that and perhaps very surprising, that we have seen Israel reportedly cooperate with the ICC. You referenced the meetings which seem to have been scheduled. The fact that the prosecutor was allowed entry into Israel to pursue an investigation where the state has been clear that the court has no jurisdiction begs certain questions, and I do hope that over the coming weeks they may be answered. Also, with the court, it doesn't have a means of actually enforcing the warrant. Is that true? So, like, if it goes through, which also we know that there haven't been actual indictments from Western democratic countries. So, what would it mean if the arrest warrant goes through and the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister want to fly to Paris? Like, who has jurisdiction over even arresting them and extraditing them? Well, yes, they rely on the cooperation of member states of the ICC for the enforcement, and it has always been anticipated that as and when this court would take the political step of issuing arrest warrants against Israelis, that would necessarily have travel implications. It may very well be that certain member states, as I indicated, who have been very critical of the politicization of the court and these lawfare initiatives that have been launched against Israelis without evidence and without there being the remotest justification for them, that there may be member states that choose to ignore these warrants and indeed take their own action against the ICC for having issued them.
All right. Thank you very much for your clarification and insight. Natasha Hausdorff, barrister, international law expert, and director of UK Lawyers for Israel. Thanks again.